Hello and welcome to the ArborPro Basic Training webinar. My name is Michael Talag. I am the Client Success Manager and GIS Specialist here at ArborPro. I provide client support as well as training for all users. We wanted to take this time to offer a broad training in the basics within our software to make sure all of our clients are up to date on the newest features and basics here in ArborPro. I will be providing a live demo for the first section of this webinar. Once finished with the demonstration, we'll go into a live Q&A for any questions regarding the basics here in the software. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our new support email posted down below, help@arborprousa.com. With that, I'll go ahead and switch over to the software and we'll get started here. So we'll start with the basic overview of the software. This is going to be the default view once you log into your database. The left-hand side contains all of our data analysis tools. The top right has more administrative tools next to our name badge up top. In the bottom right-hand corner, we do have our inventory toolbar. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our tree dashboard. As we zoom in here, we get a breakdown of all the different statuses here on the map in this tree dashboard. You'll notice tree, stump, vacancy, and inactive site with numbers for each of those as well. All the data points on the map do correlate to these statuses. All the green data points are going to be live trees. Brown data points will be stumps. We have blue data points set up as vacancies and any gray data points as inactive sites. You'll also notice a dollar amount after the total value here. We use the ISA trunk replacement method directly within the software to grab this dollar amount for the full inventory. We do also have two new features within this tree dashboard that I'll go over right now. The first one's going to be the data summary page on the very left-hand side of this tree dashboard. The icon is an eye with a circle around it. Once I open that up, the data summary window appears. We can choose which data set we want to summarize, and then we can choose which field we want to summarize. I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way down to recommended maintenance here. It lets us know there are 886 total objects, which does match the full data point count here, being 886. There are 9 distinct values, the most common of those being routine prune, with 691 occurrences of routine prune. The least common value is going to be priority 1 removal, with a count of 2 throughout the database. You'll notice this export to CSV button. With 2 options, we can either export the data summary for recommended maintenance that we're seeing here, or we have the ability to export all fields, and it will provide a summary for all the data fields that we collect on. We close out of that one. We'll look into the second new feature here on this tree dashboard, being the total value calculator. This is represented with a question mark and a circle around it as well. It does provide a little description on how we go about calculating the dollar amount for each individual tree. These rows indicate any data points that have a crucial field missing, whether that be exact DBH, condition, location, or species. To get a better look at what data we do collect, we can go ahead and click into a data point and see the details pane. Once I choose a tree, a red marker will appear letting me know which tree I'm looking at. At the very top of the details pane on the left-hand side, you'll notice the tree ID, which is a unique identifier throughout this database. I can search this number in our search tool, which I'll go over in a little bit. I can continue scrolling down on this page to see any location details we've set, being property, location, tree characteristics, including tree species, exact DBH, height. We record tree condition and recommended maintenance as well. We do also have a dedicated notes field to provide any supplemental information about this data point. And we also provide a tree value field, which gives you the individual value for this data point. We have a section here for annual ecosystem benefits. We grab the data from this database, send it off to iTree, and they give us those numbers back to import into the database. We do also have an area for photos and files within each data point. This button allows me to upload Word documents, PDFs, JPEGs directly to this data point. The last section is going to be upload and update information, letting us know who created the point and when they created it, and then as well for who last edited the point and when that edit was made. Heading back up to the top of this details pane, we do also, it does default to our tree details. We have another tab here that records any work records associated with this tree. Work records and work lists is a little bit more advanced. We'll be going over that next week on our advanced training webinar. The last few buttons at the top are going to be save, which allows you to save any changes to an already plotted point or to save a new point. We also have the ability to toggle Street View. This is a useful tool if you're ever doing data analysis from a desk in an office instead of within the field here. We do also have a details report, which creates a nice one-page fact sheet about this specific data point. It's going to open up in a new tab. It's going to show me all the location details, all the tree characteristics. It will provide a map and a pinpoint of where that data point is located. Any photos that are attached will also appear on this details report, and the work history is also tracked within this details report. The last button here is going to be more options. We can look at the audit log, which will track changes over time. We can create a share link, copy data, and even delete the data point if we'd like as well. Now we'll move on to our inventory toolbar, which is in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen here. It is free floating. You can drag it across the screen and orient it as you'd like. This first section is going to be our layer selector. If you have multiple layers enabled within the database, you will be able to choose between them. As you can see, I have trees, polygons, and polylines, but we'll be sticking with trees today. The first tool I want to show off is the Add tool, represented by this green plus sign. Once I select that tool, the Add Point dialog box does appear. Like most of the other tools in this inventory toolbar, we have the ability to toggle on and off our crosshairs. Crosshairs are useful if you're using an iPad or touch screen within the field. It can be a little bit more accurate when you're dropping points. If you're using a computer or in an office, you can use your mouse to just click and drop a point to start data collection. Once you drop that point, a red marker will appear letting you know where that point will be placed once you do save it. The details pane opens up and you can start entering in the location details, area, tree characteristics as well, and all the associated data. One trunk. Once I'm satisfied with all the data entry here, I can go ahead and press save. That's going to go ahead and add the point to the map, and I can continue adding more points as needed. The next tool on this inventory toolbar is going to be our single selection tool. This is represented by the mouse icon. That dialog box does appear, letting me know I can start selecting trees. As I go through and select data points, you'll notice a red halo appear around these data points. This is what we like to call our map selection. If you start clicking on a group of trees and forget how many you've selected, you can always refer back to our tree dashboard in the bottom left-hand corner. You'll notice it now states tree 10 of 862, letting me know I have 10 trees selected. You'll also notice that the selection value, or the total dollar amount, also does change to reflect the 10 trees here. We also have the ability to create a mass selection as well. Our polygon selection tool allows us to populate a bright red polygon with editable vertices to create a very fine selection area. Once I'm satisfied with the selection area, I can go ahead and press finish. And that's going to highlight all the trees within that polygon. I can again refer back to the tree dashboard to let us know we have 27 trees selected out of 862. This is a great time to look into our inventory tray, which is accessible at the bottom of the screen. This whole green bar at the very bottom is actually a button. You can click on the Open Inventory View text here. You can click on the green bar, or you can even click on the tree dashboard to open up that inventory tray. The inventory tray is an Excel spreadsheet-like view of all the data. You'll see the column names up top here and all the associated data down below. Within the inventory tray settings, you can hit inventory tray settings. You can adjust the number of visible rows, but you can also adjust which columns are being shown within this inventory tray. I'm going to go ahead and select all of the fields here and press update, just so I can see more data all at once. We also have a search tool within this inventory tray to make some further searches. I'm going to go ahead and look for all of my Coast live oaks within this selection. As I press enter, it's going to filter, and you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, 1 to 8 of 8, meaning that there are 8 Coast live oaks within this map selection of 27 trees. To clear that out, I can go ahead and hit exit. And then now the inventory tray is back to that full 27. Another key feature within the inventory tray is going to be our mass update tool in the top left-hand corner of this inventory tray. Once that's selected, the mass update window appears. I can choose which data set I want to report on. You will have to have a map selection created in order to hit the mass update button. This next section allows us to choose which fields we want to mass update. If I want to change the location field for all 27 trees, I can check the location field. I can also check the exact DBH as well. Once I scroll down, this is the area where I can choose the new location value. I can choose front, and then I can choose an exact DBH to mass update to as well. Once I press submit, there will be a confirmation window making sure I want to update 27 models or 27 trees. There's also a clear data in this field box that you can check. Once checked, it's going to null the value for exact DBH for all 27 trees. You'll also notice a mass delete button in red. We've also added an extra security measure here. You have to type in the word delete in order for the proceed button to be selectable. Otherwise, it's grayed out and you can't delete anything. Again, another confirmation window will appear once you hit proceed. We can move on. The last feature I'll go over in the inventory tray here is going to be the report button. This is a great way to create an export of data right through the inventory tray. We can choose which data set we're working with. Again, we'll continue with that map selection of 27. Then we'll scroll down, and here's where we choose exactly which fields show up in this CSV export. I'm going to go ahead and choose everything here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Create Report. We'll create a nice CSV download for you to use and send off to whoever you need. We'll close that inventory view. We'll go ahead and move on to the next tool in the inventory toolbar here. It's going to be the Move tool, represented by a dot and arrows in each direction here. Once selected, the dialog box does appear. We can choose which tree we do want to move. To start a move, all we have to do is select a point we'd like to move. A yellow cursor will appear, letting us know where that new location will be once selected. I can click to save that move. We also have the ability to create some mass movements here within ArborPro. The first step for a mass movement is going to be to create a map selection here. We already have 27 trees highlighted, so we'll work with that. You'll notice a toggle here in the dialog box, Enable Mass Move. Once we check that off, we have the ability to select a data set. Going back to that 27, the first step is going to be to select a point to center the rest of the trees on. I'll go ahead and select this one. You'll notice the yellow cursor for the original point I'm trying to move, and the green cursors for all the other data points in relation to this new location. As a warning, this mass move cannot be undone, and the best way to fix that is to select the same trees and just undo that move that you had just made. Zoom in here. We'll go. Oops. There. Great. The next tool is going to be our ruler tool, where we can create some measurements directly on the map. I can drop my first point. I can even show the crosshair to get a really fine point drop. Once I hit that green check mark, it's going to go ahead and populate a measurement here for me. I have two ways of clearing this ruler. I can either double click or I can use our reset tool. The very last tool in the inventory toolbar here is an arrow circling itself, and this allows us to clear both highlights and rulers from the map. Now that that's done, I can move on. The last tool in the inventory toolbar here is going to be our GPS locator. This is a great tool if you're in the field collecting. It will actually populate a little icon here letting you know where you're at. This is accurate. I am performing this webinar from Boston. This is a great segue into resetting the map view in case you do lose your orientation when you're plotting trees. In the bottom left-hand corner, we'll have a different reset button to reset the map view. I can go ahead and click that, and it's going to bring me back straight to the main database view. We'll be moving on to our data analysis tools now on the left-hand toolbar. The first one's going to be our properties tool. This tool organizes all the different property names. We have a bookmarked area to access frequently visited properties. We have 3 properties in this demo database right now. Once we hit this caret, we can see all of the property options. It does also provide a count for all the data points at each property, and we can easily navigate to each property by selecting it to zoom and highlight to that area. The next tool is going to be our groups tool right underneath the properties tool. We can choose which active layer we're going to be grouping by. Again, we're going to stick with trees here. The next field is going to be what we're grouping by. With it set to property, it's going to function very similar to that properties tool. The main difference is that it's going to sort by highest count instead of alphabetically. A great field to change to is going to be recommended maintenance. You You can quickly access any priority maintenance options here, any priority 2 removals, priority 1 prunes. And for street tree inventories, another great field to group by is going to be property street. This will give us an idea of all the trees on a specific road here, and can quickly organize any mass updates, work lists, print previews, or even community viewers as well. The next tool is going to be work lists. Again, we'll go over this next week on our advanced training. We'll continue on to our search tool. This is a very powerful tool we can use to search any data within the database. This first field will be the tree ID. You can search up individual tree IDs here to find the exact tree you're looking for. Otherwise, you can use the data fields here and combine options to get a really refined search. To start off, I'm going to find everything at a specific property. We're going to look for everything at demo HOA. We want to find a specific species, all of my coast live oaks. And to go one step further, we're going to go ahead and choose a tree condition of poor. So I'm searching for all my coast live oaks in poor condition at the demo HOA property. Once I press search, it's going to go ahead and zoom and highlight to all the coast live oaks in poor condition at this property. Search is a great way to start creating these map highlights, which is crucial before creating reports, print maps, mass updates, or even community viewers. The next tool is going to be our filter tool, which is represented by a funnel icon. Once we have the filter pane open, we can go ahead and add a filter. A drop down for the different data collection fields appear. Once I choose a field to filter by, the full database will clear out and the dashboard will zero out. Once I choose a property to filter by, those points will repopulate for me, and just those points at this property. We also have the ability to stack filters as well. So if I wanted to hit these 3 stacked dots, head to add category, you can go to common name. I can type in the word oak to find all the available oak species here from the filtered data. If I go ahead and click all 3, now I have a map of all my oak species at the demo HOA property. A combination of the search tool and filters is going to be crucial before creating any print maps, community viewers, or even work lists moving forward. Once I'm finished, I can hit clear, I can confirm, and all the data points will return back to the map. We have our color palette here as well. It does default to status. We can easily change the color with the color selector here. A great field to change to is recommended maintenance. This gives an idea of the type of work to be done throughout the database. Tree condition also provides an idea of the overall health. And then another fun setting is to scroll all the way up to common name to give a species breakdown for all the data points here. These legend dots are also selectable as well. If I want to find all my coast live oaks, I can hit this blue dot and it's going to zoom and highlight all of those trees. Clear that selection here. The next tool is going to be the reporting tool, which opens up the reporting pane. This first section is going to be our Report Builder 2.0. You can choose which data set you're working with, and then you can actually hit this Build Report button. It will take you to a new tab here. This is a great area to start creating graphs. You can choose the page orientation, page size, and you can actually choose the chart type. I definitely encourage you all to play around with the different charts you can make, vertical bar, line, or even a pie chart. You can scroll all the way down, change the chart title, and then the horizontal axis field is how we go about changing what's being shown on the graph. If I show recommended maintenance here, it's going to provide a legend with all those values here. Advanced tools has some more color schemes and other advanced settings. You do also have the ability to save a report. If you do plan on using a report type frequently, you can easily return back to it and then plug in whatever map highlight you have created in the main database. If we close that section, we can open up the CSV builder, another area to export a CSV or Excel file. Again, we can choose which data set we want to report on, scroll all the way down, and we can choose exactly which fields are being shown in that final CSV export. I can hit Export CSV to have that downloaded to my device. The print map tool here allows us to create some static PDF maps. Once I hit that Open Print Preview button, it will take me to a new tab. Here I can edit the print map view. I can change layout options to portrait to fit this map area. I have some labeling options, some coloring options, as well as some further layer options. Once I hit print map, it's going to go ahead and create that PDF download for me. And I can send this off in emails or however I'd like. The last thing I do want to go over here is going to be our support button in the top right-hand corner. It's going to be right next to our name badge here. It's a speech bubble with a little question mark inside of it. This support form has an area for the title of an issue and then an area to describe that issue further. This is the best way to get in contact with both our developers and our support team if you're having any issues within the software. Again, we also have our help email, help@arborprousa.com if you do have any further questions. I do want to take this time and turn it over to Keith, the owner of the company, to provide some more information on our new services that we do provide. So without further ado, I'll let Keith take it over right before we get into our Q&A section.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Keith Henning. I'm the president of ArborPro. I just want to spend a minute or so here and talk about some of the new technologies that we're using. We do have a fleet of drones that we are using now and also purchasing more. Some of this came more of a directive from the utility clients like Southern California Edison, where they're utilizing LiDAR, multispectral geothermal technologies through the use of drones. So the first slide I have here is a demo that we did for Indian Wells Golf Course that is using, and I might have the technology wrong, we have guys with higher levels of expertise in this on the line too, but basically what this does gives us heat sensing for the property. So in this case, the golf course can see, and we can also we did multiple flights during that day. So during the afternoon, the morning, you can see the red areas where it's measuring the heat or moisture or lack of moisture. So they can see areas where they need to address on their turf. This also applies to trees. A lot of our clients are using this for real high-level urban canopy tree assessments. So it's a big thing moving forward for us. It also gives us the ability to do 3D videos and 3D views of the data. So you can see here with the golf course, this is a video that the team set up for the same golf course where you can actually get a real 3D view of the data set fully, because we do multiple flights over the property, both sides of the tree. Eventually, this will get down to species identification, tree condition, things like that. And just to show you a couple other things that we've worked on recently, out in Asheville, North Carolina, where they had the Hurricane Helene, there's Army Corps of Engineers has crews out there obviously doing cleanup efforts. This is one of the streams going through Polk County in North Carolina. But now with the technology that we have, you can actually utilize it to access a 3D view going down the stream. The guys can pull this up on their phone. For the contractors out there doing the work, you can see here, this might be an access point where I could bring in heavy equipment. We need to pull all the debris that's inside the stream down to this area. And then it just gives them this tool that they can use that's way more advanced than previous tools that they've had. Another thing that we did out in North Carolina, here's a quick view using the utility side of it. Utilities are pushing real heavy to use this type of technology because what it can do is measure the distance between the trees and the power lines, which can identify which trees need to be inspected for maintenance. Where right now we have guys walking the power lines, a lot of guys walking the power lines looking for trees that could impact the power lines. Now with this type of technology, the goal is to only hit hot spots where we know that the trees are within or out of compliance. And then one last thing I'll show you guys here is this is another part of the city of Asheville, who's one of our clients. We're actually performing the tree inventory for the city of Asheville. When the hurricane hit, we had to pull our crews out and leave, but you can see the kind of detail that you can get with this technology. They can see where the trees are down. It can get to the point where you can calculate the DBH of the trees that have fallen, how much debris is going to come out of an area. The extent of what we can do with this technology is unlimited, and we're just testing it out now. But eventually, this is something that we can provide for all of our clients. A lot of our university clients are looking for it. Municipal clients are utilizing it now. So there's a lot of potentials here for it. And anybody that wants more information about this or a separate demo about the type of technology that we're using right now, you could reach out to Michael or one of the sales team, and we can let you know. I'm just giving you guys a brief, real quick synopsis. I know we're getting towards the end of it, but I just want to show off some of the cool stuff that we're working on. And, you know, we're trying to advance, stay ahead of the industry in all aspects of urban forest management. So that's what I had. And I appreciate everybody's time.
I do want to address some of the questions in the chat here as well. I do see that Corwin's responded to a couple of them already, but I do see a question. Once the data set is developed, how is access to edit the data managed? Once the inventory is completed, or once we import the data into the software, we do provide login information to users. It is a subscription for the software, which sales can provide a little bit more information on. Print details reports for multiple data points in a search. You can't print multiple details reports specifically, but you can export data on all of those pine trees that are dead. So not the specific details report quite yet. I do see a question, mass edit and mass delete tools make me a little nervous. Do you guys keep a backlog for us? Yes, we do have an ability to backlog and repopulate data points, but we do also have that extra security measure to prevent unnecessary deletions. But yes, we do have the ability to look in our logs. We do store a copy of the data the day before, so we can always restore it to that previous day. We do recommend recording the time of day and the total amount of trees that were deleted or edited. That will help us pinpoint exactly what needs to be restored before we get those back in. Can we get a PowerPoint in this webinar? Yeah, I'm sure we can create a webinar PowerPoint. Yeah, we'll be able to get that created and sent over for anyone who'd like to have that. So yeah, I'll do an email blast with an email recording. We'll also send out an email to attendees with links to the recording as well too. Yeah. Thank you all for those great questions, and thank you for taking time out on a Friday to go through this basic training with me. Hope you can all attend next week. We'll send out some more invites and reminders for next week as well to go over some more of the advanced tools. Hope you all have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. And thank you for being an ArborPro customer. Thank you.